Hey guys, you get me a hot mess this morning. I am trying to get out on the trail and ride, but I really quickly wanted to install this Midwest Mountain Engineering Clever Lever. I just got this the other day on recommendation of a friend. I've kind of avoided using one of these like clutch easy pull levers because I've heard some things that are, they're a little bit complicated sometimes to adjust, and I've had some people that haven't had very good luck with them, but I wanted to give it a shot. So you get me halfway dressed down, trying to get on the bike and go ride, but I'm quickly gonna show you guys how to install this lever, and then we're gonna give it a shot today and see if it helps out. One of the problems I've been having trying to do hard enduro stuff as we're getting better is we're using the clutch more and more than even before than we used to. And I'm really having a lot of like clutch hand fatigue, and I'm losing the clutch over obstacles and throwing the bike away when I really should have more control. And we have a good friend that we started riding with recently who has one of these levers on his bike, and I used it just a little bit the other day and was really impressed with its performance. So I'm actually trying several things kind of concurrently. I have a Recluse core manual clutch coming with lighter clutch springs, so I'm pretty excited to try that out, but it's back ordered. So today I'm gonna start with the Clever Lever. I'm gonna give you like first ride impressions, show you how to install this, and yeah, let you know what I think. We'll see if this is worth all the hype or not. Before we get into that, I actually want to, if I could reach it, really quickly have you check out the action camera chin mounts that we make, link in the description. These are custom fit to every helmet. We've got maybe 60 up in the shop or so, and many more coming. Chin mounting gives you the best point of view, in our opinion. Check those out, we've got lots of them. Those are a great product. All right, let's go install the Clever Lever. Okay guys, let's go ahead and try to get this on. I'm gonna see what's in the package actually, because that would help. What I get for trying to do all this last minute, but I really want to try this out. I'm pretty stoked about it. Let's see. So there's the lever itself. It's kind of a fatty lever. So first of all, it's short, like I like to have them. It's also thicker, with still having some bevel so that it spreads pressure on your hand, but it's thicker than the stock clutch lever. So it's actually a feature they mention when you're buying it. And then there's the plunger tube that actually does the pushing on the master cylinder. And then here's the instruction card. Yeah, I mean, whatever, fuck it. Instructions are for losers, right? First thing I'm going to do is take the old lever off. Should be pretty easy. There's just this one center bolt comes out, and I think the lever will just slide out of place. So let's try that out. One thing to watch for is there's like this, I guess it's a return spring, and that is easy to lose. So there's the lever, whatever, and there's a spring. So let's get the Clever Lever and see. So the plunger is going to go in here. This screw is how you adjust the lever for position, and I don't know what this does. I guess I do need to read those instructions that are for losers after all. Apparently instructions are useful. There's this, which is a bushing that comes from the stock lever, which I'm going to grab, and we're going to use that in the new lever, just from the top. Probably should put a little grease or something in there, but I'm not going to right now because I can't decide. I guess I will put a little tiny bit of grease in there. What I'm worried about is I drop this bike in the dirt a lot, and this grease is going to hold the dirt, but I guess that's going to happen either way. So this pin, like I was saying, is how you adjust the engagement point of the clutch. This screw is how you adjust the free play, meaning how far out the lever can flop before that. It's basically just a stop, right? And then, as I was saying a second ago, you're going to need that stock pivot bushing, which I put a little bit of grease on, and then we'll use the stock bolt and we'll just bolt this in place. The other thing is you'll remove the stock piston rod, which you can see here, and I'm going to transfer that little bit of, I guess it's like silicone grease or something. This bolt doesn't need to be particularly tight. You don't want it to rattle loose, but it's not like tightening down on the lever or something. You want to make sure the lever can play. So first impressions immediately, like I'm grabbing this lever, I can already tell it's probably half the pull effort. They say 50%. I so far would be inclined to believe that, which is pretty wild. Now you can't adjust these levers while the bike is cold. The clutch or the transmission fluid has to be hot, the clutch plates have to be warm, and then you can adjust the free play and make sure that you have the right amount of drag without clutch slipping. So I'm going to ride it a little bit as we take off, and I'm going to take a tool with me to do some adjustment as we hit the trail. So I'll see you on the trail. Let's see how this thing works out.
The lever travel is way longer. So like your engagement point is like twice as wide. I mean, that's how you get the extra force, is like more distance, right? So, but you can totally feel it, like, you know, the point where it's like grabbing enough to pull up a hill or it's not, that point is like twice as wide. So you have like a lot more like room to play with in terms of how much engagement you're giving it. But it's weird because it's like all your muscle memories for like how much to feather the clutch are all wrong. Like I'm finding that it's like slipping, I've got to let it out way farther than I would have thought, or pull it in further than I would have thought. So it's just an adjustment, but it's really interesting like how much like adjustment you have with your hand now. Like it seems like it'll be a good thing once I learn it, because there's so much more like, okay, it's still slipping a little, let me let it out just like a little bit, and then you can feel it like hook up a little more, and you feel in control of the whole thing. Compared to this, the stock lever's like either on or off. So we just got back off the trail. We did, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours of riding with the Midwest Mountain Engineering clever lever, and I don't know, I'm really impressed. A couple of initial thoughts. We'll do kind of a deeper review as I get into the Recluse clutch and have some longer time on this clutch lever. But a couple of initial things to think about. One, it's drastically less effort to pull the clutch. They say 50%. I think I'd rate it somewhere in that, maybe even better than that. It's just so much easier that you just don't get any of that like hand fatigue, arm pump that you get with a normal clutch. I didn't ever throw the bike away trying to do obstacles or anything like that because my hand was tired. Like I always could pull the clutch. I had previously switched to my middle finger to get a little more power on the clutch pull. I think this clutch is so light, I'm actually gonna go back to my index finger. I'm a little more precise with my index finger, but mostly the lever is actually kind of in the way now with because it's a little bit wider, which is fine, I think, but it's hitting my other finger. So I'm gonna move it all the way up on the bars and grab it with my index finger. The really interesting thing to know about these is like the lever works fine, but like obviously you get the extra power to make the pull lighter by extending the range that you're pulling over, right? It's a basic lever effect. And so what ends up happening is you feel like that contact point, that engagement like area that you have in your clutch is twice as wide, basically. Like that's where your 50% less effort comes from. And so as you engage the clutch, you have to go a lot farther with the lever to get to cover like the same amount of engagement in the clutch stack, which is actually a good thing in most cases because you have a lot more precision. So you can feather the clutch in and out just a little bit, and because you're moving the same as you would have to like dump the clutch on a standard lever, but because you've got twice as much contact space, you're like much more controlled as you move through that. So that's really interesting. It took a lot of like adjustment to figure out how to operate the clutch in that range, and I still am terrible with wheelies. It's really funny, like we tried to hit some obstacles that you got to wheelie up on, and I'd go to dump the clutch and I'd move it like the amount that I thought would be a clutch dump, and it would be like a partial engage, and like the bike would go, but like not with the, you know, pop a wheelie and like fly into it like you'd need it to. So I'm gonna have to work on technique. I feel like I'm starting over like a noob, but like it's well worth it because you can actually pull the clutch. So I didn't have any issues with adjustment. That was one thing I had heard about that I was a little bit worried. I adjusted it a couple of times to get it set once the bike was warmed up, and it worked great. So I'm a huge fan. I'm definitely going to leave it on the bike, and I'm looking forward to putting lighter clutch springs in when I get the Recluse core manual in the bike, because I wouldn't mind it even a little bit lighter. Like it's great now, it's not going to kill you, but the nice thing about the light clutch springs with the Recluse is that you don't give up any more range of motion, so you just get a lighter pull, and I think I'll really be able to feather it through obstacles really nicely without fatigue. So I'm a huge fan, super stoked, highly recommend them so far. If you like our videos, like and subscribe, we appreciate it. We'll see you next time.